Hi guys, I am back with another monthly recap and a look into my plans for November. So like the last video that I did, some of the stuff that I'll be talking about will be tarot related and some of it not. So for October, the deck that I chose as my working deck was Tarot of Vampyres. Halloween vampire deck, no-brainer. But this was a good lesson for me because I learned that the relationship that I was hoping to have with this deck wasn't going to happen, and just have to be okay with that. What I was wanting was to be able to use this deck not just as a deck for shadow work. I've heard a number of people talk about this deck and their love for this deck and the fact that they don't just use it for shadow work, that they use it for their daily draws or, daily readings. And if you've watched Racine on her channel, Almoon513, she talks about this deck a lot. It's her home deck. And I can't imagine that every day is shadow day for her. So, her relationship with the deck was kind of what I was hoping to have, because I love darker themed decks. I love vampires. And I've just been having trouble finding that dark deck that I can truly connect with, and that it's a deck that is not limited to just the shadow work aspect of my practice. The guidebook is packed with information. When I first got the deck, I had read the whole guidebook, and it's multi-layered. You have a lot of symbology, astrological symbology, and you have these images, some of which lend to RWS, some of which don't. And, it's a lot to take in, and a lot of it just doesn't stick for me and didn't stick for me while I was working with this deck. And yeah, it just wasn't so fluid. And so, trying to kind of push the guidebook aside, I was trying to use my intuition more. And, some of these cards, they're just kind of vampires looking moody and not much of a scene outside of that. So they started to kind of look the same. And it was hard for my intuition to kick in, especially between some of these minors that I'm showing you here and the court cards. They were just starting to look the same to me and just kind of blended together. Then you have a card like this. This is Lord of Grails, so King of Cups. And again, the guidebook is a wealth of information, and it does give a balance of light and shadow. So for this card, it discusses how he is merciful, and he's healing and understanding. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh yeah, merciful, healing. I totally see that. No, I don't see that at all. So I have just found that it's been hard for me to see anything outside of shadow a lot of times with this deck. So these are the sticking points that I've identified, and I just decided I'm not going to force it with this deck, and I feel like that's what I've been doing with it. I'm not getting rid of it. I still like the deck. I like the imagery, and I will continue to try to work with it. And if it's just in the capacity of shadow work and path work, that's fine. And then, of course, the Oracle deck that I worked with all of October was the Halloween Oracle, and loads of fun. No complaints there. I always have a great relationship with the Halloween Oracle. Movies. One movie that I would like to briefly touch on that I saw this past month was A Star is Born with Lady Gaga and, crap, what's his name? Bradley Cooper. Oh my God. Yes, Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper. I highly recommend this movie. This is not a spoiler alert. It's not the most uplifting movie. If you've seen the previews, you're gonna kind of know that you're not gonna walk out of the theater with like a skip in your step, but the acting was just phenomenal. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper have such chemistry together. The songs are wonderful. Their voices blend so well together. I believe Bradley Cooper, he worked on lowering his register for the role, and he learned to play the instruments, guitar, piano. I mean, that's just amazing. And I don't know if any of you are Alias fans, the TV show with Jennifer Garner. So Bradley Cooper used to have a supporting role in that show, and you see cameos from other actors in that show in this movie, which I thought was kind of neat. And of course, Lady Gaga, just amazing, her voice, and she's a great actress too. So, and Sam Elliott, I love Sam Elliott, he was great. I mean, they're all great. Andrew Dice Clay, I don't know if you remember that asshole from, you know, back how many years ago. He actually gave a very nice and subtle performance. I was pleasantly surprised that he could rein it in and pull it back and give a performance like that. So all in all, it was a good movie. Not one I'll run to see again because, you know, mood-wise, it's not the lightest film, but if you have a chance, do go check it out. Books. I finished Nevermoor, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. I had listened to that on audio. Highly recommend. If you like Harry Potter and you like Neil Gaiman stories, then this would be a book that's in that category. And it's a series, and it's based on this 11-year-old girl named Morrigan Crow. And I believe the second book is already out, if not going to be out soon, so I will definitely pick that up. I would say it's not as good as Harry Potter, but like, what is as good as Harry Potter? That almost seems like an unfair comparison. So one that I really enjoyed, and I look forward to reading the sequel, or the book 2. And then Uprooted, a fantasy novel by Naomi Novik. I finished that, and it was a good book. It was a good book. So it's about this 18-year-old young woman, Agnieszka, and she learns that she's a witch, and, you know, this wizard trains her, and together they have to fight against the wood, which is this evil forest of trees that are trying to push into the towns. It's a good book. I will say there were some slow parts, but well written. And one of the things I loved the most about the book was the way the author describes the spell casting, and the way she describes that process of how they you know, create these spells and work their magic is different from anything I've read. For November, I am bringing this mug into rotation. Sorry for the swearing. It was a gift. It says "fuck off, I'm writing," and then on this side it says "fuck off, I'm editing," and it's pretty apropos because I will be working on my novel revisions. I received my line edits back just a few days ago. Misty, my line editor, amazing. She did an excellent job. So this month I'll be focused on edits, and then hopefully pitching the manuscript to agents. I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm over it. You know, I've been working on this project for a few years now. You just wanna move on, and I'm ready, and I'm almost there. But I do know that this needs one more good polish, and then I can send it off. In terms of tarot, I will be working with the Steampunk Tarot. I haven't worked with this all that much yet, and I look forward to it. This is going to be fun, I think. I just love all the images. I think this will not be as difficult for me to work with as Tarot Vampyres has been. Then the working oracle deck that I've chosen is Oracle of Echoes. I've had this deck for a while and I haven't used it all that much, so I really want to devote more time to this. And then just for funsies, like here and there to take a little bit of a break, in between Steampunk and Oracle of Echoes, I'll be using the Game of Thrones Tarot. If you want an excellent walkthrough of the Game of Thrones Tarot, I will put a link below. Sarah from Sunset Bough, she did an excellent walkthrough of Game of Thrones. I was watching it while doing my bullet journal setup just over the weekend, and it's by far the best walkthrough that I've seen so far. It's just everything she says is on point, and I agreed 100% with all of her observations. So I would highly recommend you check that out. And check out her channel, subscribe, give her some love because she's awesome. Books, I plan on finishing Bakara, Wintner's WTF is Tarot and How Do I Do It. I started it like a couple months ago and I really want to finish it. I've liked what I've read so far and I think it's something that I could easily finish this month. And finally, I'm going to be continuing with Tarot on Earth as part of the Marseille study group that Lisa from Supportive Tarot is leading. So far, we've covered numerology, and that wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. Because honestly, I was dreading it a little bit, but it wasn't bad at all. And I feel like I have a much better handle on the numerology, and that is going to be such a helpful fundamental as we continue to build on these concepts and really get into working with Marseille. So I'm happy so far with how things have been going in that study group. And that's it for me. Those are my plans. Thanks for hanging out with me and keeping me accountable to all that I say I'm going to do. And I will see you in the next video. Much love. Take care.